It appears that the feel-good portion of the Red Sox offseason is over. Less than a week after locking up their star third baseman, the Red Sox are in the market for a second baseman and probably a shortstop too. That's because Trevor Story is going to miss an undetermined amount of time after having surgery on his throwing elbow. Story had an internal bracing procedure, which is less invasive than Tommy John surgery, but it could still sideline him for a while. Typical recovery time, 4 to 6 months, but Chaim Bloom was tempering expectations.
We're not ready to put a timetable on it yet. I certainly would not rule out a return sometime during 2023, but it's also not something at this stage that we want to bank on. It'll take how long it takes. We want to make sure he's 100%.
Here in the Load, presented by the Chevy Silverado. So Bloom says the Sox can't bank on Story returning this year. The bigger question might be, can they bank on him returning to form when he does? Story is coming off the worst season of his career, not exactly offering much bang for the buck on that 6-year, $140 million contract. John Tomase here in studio as we start the Daily Thread, along with me and Tommy Giles. And just last week when we were talking, John, about Rafael Devers, the signing, and how great, it's great that they locked him up, but at the end of the day, the lineup still looks the same. And I asked you if in any way, could this lineup be better than we think? And you said, and one of the things was, well, if Trevor Story returns to form and now poof, that's gone. This injury, I don't want to say it's catastrophic in any way, shape, or form to the Red Sox, but it certainly is no bueno.
It's bad.
It's bad.
It's really bad. I mean, the Red Sox and their fans cannot have nice things this winter. That's just what it boils down to. And I think Trevor Story is a big loss, and I actually think we do him a little bit of a disservice in your description, worst year of his career, no bang for the buck. As Chaim Bloom said today, when Trevor Story was right, they were a playoff team. And you go back to that massive, May that he had where it was 30-something RBIs, and he was driving that lineup, and you saw what kind of player he could be. Dynamic defender, runs the bases well, hits for power, maybe doesn't hit for average, maybe strikes out a bit, but he does a lot of things well. He's exactly the kind of player you can win with, and the Red Sox need more of. And now he's gone, Giles, and I just say, what are you doing up the middle of your team right now? No Bogarts, no Story.
What was also interesting today, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought that Bloom also said that Trevor Story was preparing, he was excited about playing shortstop, which goes back to the whole thing from a year and a half ago when they signed Trevor Story, and you're sitting there saying, okay, well, this looks like Xander Bogaerts' replacement, and it kind of seems like that was always the plan. Trevor Story, though, had some injury concerns, I thought, coming in when the Red Sox signed him, so that's kind of annoying, and I feel bad for the player because I don't think he can control this, but at the same time, the plan just didn't make sense.
But to that point, Giles, there is a report out there. Bob Nightingale said that he was talking to some Red Sox players who said, oh, yeah, he sort of saw this coming, but he was hoping he could rest it, not have to have the surgery. He could have had the surgery. The Red Sox season ended, beginning of October?
Yeah.
You could have had the surgery in October, and then you've got November, December, January, February. You're starting to ramp up in that 4 to 6 month period when you get back to spring training. Now you have the surgery, and it's 6 weeks out from the start, not even a month out from the start of spring training.
So this is the only part of this that I will defend is I'm never going to force a guy to get surgery. And to me, this is like a Rob Williams kind of situation where he tried to rest and heal. And as soon as he started doing real workouts for the Celtics, suddenly we're, on the eve of camp and Rob Williams needs surgery. This is similar. It's like if you're going to try to rest, and he did manage this all season. He played a very good second base. He hit for power. If you're going to try to rest, you have to rest. You take a gamble. They took a gamble. It failed.
And Lou Maloney also tweeted about this, too, and said basically this is when you were starting to ramp it up again with the throwing, and that's when you kind of realized that you need the surgery.
Should they have gone harder for Carlos Correa, knowing that he had this surgery and they certainly have the money?
I mean, I wrote about this yesterday. Yes.
A house divided.
Yes, just real quick, 6 and 200 for a guy who's a $350 million player. It was right there for you. He had fallen into your lap. He's a better player than Bogaerts. He's 2 years younger. You could have had him, and you let him go to Minnesota.
Yeah, but
aren't there injury concerns?
Yeah, but what if we're having the same conversation we're having about Trevor Story in 3 months, and Carlos Correa is playing,
Carlos Correa
60
has
games.
never missed a game for a leg injury, an ankle injury, anything related to the broken ankle, which is what was the big red flag for him. He's never missed a game for that. Trevor Story, we knew there were elbow issues coming into the year.
I find it alarming that two teams were like, you know what, we don't like what we see here, so we're
the
going to
Red
take
Sox agreed.
Well, they spent their money. They paid for Rafael Devers. All right, Tomase, thank you very much.